Hey, good morning, internet friends and family. Can't leave them out. How is your Saturday going? It's really early unless you're on the East Coast. Their clocks are a little fast over there, if you know what I mean. I wanted to throw this out there. This whole conversation is great. If I remember, I will definitely put it in the description down below. It's a pretty good conversation with this scientist talking to this guy Sadhguru, who's a he's a modern day mystic, if you will. But he's talking about consciousness, and it really got me thinking. I thought this was a great video and a great dialogue between these two because this guy on the right is coming at it from, well, hey, no, we're the body, right? We are definitely the body, and we have these. I don't want to. I don't want to paraphrase too badly, but we are we're this body, right? We're driving around, and we're the driver. And Sadhguru starts talking about what are we actually? You're not this hand. We say this is my hand, but you're not that hand. And you'll hear him talk about what you're not. And he brings it up in a few different places, but I don't believe he directly calls out your thoughts. And your thoughts might be your memories, somewhere, wherever your thoughts come from. You've got these thoughts that you're thinking, and maybe you're like a lot of people, and there's a little voice in your head that you hear, or maybe you hear music. I think it's just how I retain information. I retain it as little audio clips, and I can hear the song or the way someone is talking. I hear my dad's voice or my voice. This voice that sounds just like me, and these thoughts that pop up. Those thoughts, when you identify with them, can become problematic. When you have these thoughts, these anxious thoughts, are the kids okay? Did I leave the fireplace running? Is the car left on in the garage or whatever? Right? Did I leave the garage door open? All of these thoughts that are coming up, you know that you didn't do any of those things. You checked it, you tripled, you always check it. But there's a thought that comes up and it's on repeat. When you identify with that, you become anxious. Oh, I am anxious, right? Because of all of these things. Well, those thoughts, they're just another thing. They're just another object. They're just another thing you notice. And we know we notice those. We know we notice when we're feeling frustrated, anxious, annoyed, triggered. And those appear to us somehow, however they do in your mind. To you, it may be different. You may perceive things different, remember things different, see things different, think things different. You do think differently. And I love the way you think sometimes, most of the time. But they're just thoughts. And I'm getting a little long winded here, but I was trying to think of a time when, an example of, think of a time when something really bothered you. But I want you to go back in the time machine. You got Elon's time machine tech, and you're ripping back to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, something that really bothered you. And maybe you could spin it. Something that really pissed you off, but now you laugh with it. One of your best friends, right? Some silly fight that you got into. That's even a bad example because you got to get something that you were really bothered. Maybe you went through a really bad breakup, and it was long ago. You found, and you know what? In hindsight, thank God, because you found the one, and now you're with the one. And so looking back, you can kind of take some life lessons. Maybe it still hurts a little, but if you go far enough back, you don't even give a shit about that stuff. So those thoughts you had at the time, oh, I'm so depressed. I'm never going to find anyone. I wish things that weren't going this way, I love you, blah, 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 blah. All of these thoughts that came up then, you don't even care about. Who? Who? 10 years ago, I don't even remember her name, his name. All right, Sadhguru, do you have anything to say, anything to add?
See, what an individual life is, you cannot disagree that your life, are you? You're a piece of life, I'm a piece of life, everybody is. What kind of personalities we have acquired, what kind of likes and dislikes we have acquired, what kinds of gods and demons we have acquired, what kinds of other things we've acquired is a social process that's happened to us, cultural and social process. If you were born in a different part of the world, it would be entirely different. Depending upon what we are exposed to, these are impressions that we have taken in, phenomenal amount of impressions. Leaving that aside, let's look at one fundamental. Whatever you gather, you can only claim it's mine, you cannot say it's me, isn't it? Whatever you gather.
How do you mean? You mean your body? You say
anything. I can say, this is my chair. If I sit here every day and then I say, this is me, then there's a problem.
I think there's a possibility that it's exactly what happens, that the stuff that this piece of life can end up controlling becomes me. The reason I think of this as my hand is because it's most of the time is under the control.
My hand is okay, no problem. My hand is okay, me is the problem.
What do you say, me?
My hand means it belongs to you, no problem with that. When it…
Identify yourself as?
When it becomes me, then it leads to a completely distortion of perception.
Okay, I think… So you're talking about identity, what you identify yourself as?
See, you can… the nature of the mind is such, it is looking for some… because human intellect and human intelligence has broken out of a certain bond which was there for every other creature, that they could function like an automated machine through certain instinctual process. What has happened with the human being with the process of evolution is, the human being has broken out of that instinctual process and there is an intelligence which has to function consciously. But functioning consciously means every moment of life is an exploration, which is too scary for a whole lot of people. So the best thing is identify with something which gives you some sense of what you are. But this some sense of what you are, which you took on based on your social and cultural backgrounds, what you took on, makes sense for your survival process, but not for explorative process. It doesn't explore life, it keeps you sane. It's a good solace, it keeps you… it helps you to sleep well in the night, but it doesn't awaken a different dimension of knowing, it doesn't awaken the possibility of exploring dimensions which are not yet within you. So if this has to happen, the most important thing is to be able to sit here not identified with anything. When I said, it's so hard to remain uneducated in this world, because everybody is busy wanting to teach you something. This is all I did in my life, to remain uneducated, not to be influenced by parents, by family, by religion that's happening around you, culture that's happening around you, education that people are forcing on you, just to be the way creation intended you to be, simply. See, I may not fit into the university milieu, but…
Let me see if I can find what he said about thoughts. Let's see, what do we got here? Sad. Yeah, he's talking about… the scientist is saying, well, hey, we've got depression and anxiety and clearly the brain is changing, this person is changing. And he says something miraculous.
Those ailments, you ask people. People's drama goes wrong without any accident or injury or ailment, just like that, drama goes wrong on a daily basis for a lot of people.
We usually give that a name, though, something like depression or a psychotic break. Or something.
That's a business.
Not one I'm making any money on.
I'm saying there's only this much. Either your faculties are taking instructions from you, or they have become compulsive for some reason, all right? Either your body and mind, you can conduct it consciously, or it's become compulsive. That's all that's happening. Whether you call it physical ailment or mental ailment, all that's happened is just this, that your fundamental faculties of existence on this planet is your body and your mind. These two things, you have lost grip over them. So it can become this kind of ailment or that kind of ailment or whatever, but fundamentally you have lost charge. That's all that's happened. If your body and your brain took instructions from you, would you create depression? Would you create illness? Would you create anything? You would create highest level of pleasantness for you, isn't it?
Hey, go check out that whole video. Sadhguru. I haven't seen a whole lot of his stuff, but I've seen a couple of them, and it's they're informative. I enjoy them, okay? I'm enjoying pretty much all of YouTube. I think I'm probably going to get hit with one of those letters pretty soon saying that I've exceeded my quota of videos I'm allowed to watch. That's okay, because I got on that premium. Hey, thanks for listening. You have a great day. Thanks for being awesome. Boop.